times, 15 times, as opposed to once. They end up using more water.
Donald Trump has had many enemies over the years.
Do you think Trump will be reelected?
I didn't think he'd make it past 2 years. So it's the climate of the United States of America, you know, it breeds itself upon confusion.
Count public enemies Chuck D in that camp.
You better believe that I hate the people that took this girl and her brutally. You better believe it. And it's more than anger, it's hatred. And I want society to hate him.
Maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
There was a orange-haired real estate developer in New York at the time of the Central Park jogger case who took out full-page ads in all the daily newspapers asking for the return of the death penalty and more police. And he believed that these children should be executed, even though, of course, even the return of the death penalty would disqualify the execution of children. It was horrific then, it's horrific to hear it now.
Look no further than Trump's comments regarding the exonerated five. Not only did he do what Burns says, but he went on a full attack so he could be talked about inextricably, linking himself to the story. And to this day, he refuses to acknowledge his missteps and slammed Ava DuVernay's film on social media. Chuck D, meanwhile,
I know as an OG, this dude I had a problem with from way back, so that's why I'm wearing my shirt. This is the beginning of my problems with 45. And everybody didn't have a camera back there.
Nobody had a camera back then.
And you know what? If that was you and you got caught out by the popo at that time and got pointed to and then was plastered all over the Daily News, the New York Post, how, a rebuttal on page 13 ain't gonna fix it, yo. The thing that blows the mind is how much of America, the United States of America, fell victim to this New York City huckster three-card money playing on society, get over, slick kid, privileged brat, and called him president. That's when we got a problem, bro.
He'll never forget, and he shouldn't. He witnessed it firsthand, saw the injustice of these five boys with public pressure coming from one of the most powerful men in the city. It is unforgivable.
The leaked draft of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade was anticipated by many who say the court's current 6-3 conservative majority was designed for this moment by a conservative dark money network. These include groups like the Judicial Crisis Network, which doesn't disclose its donors, and key players like Leonard Leo, the vice president of the Federalist Society, who advised former President Donald Trump on all of his judicial nominations. The Supreme Court's anticipated reversal of federal constitutional protections of abortion rights is out of step with the views of a majority of Americans.
Because you see, Chuck D has been calling this stuff out for decades.
The world out there is controlled by people that, don't basically care for the world's benefit. They don't care about money and power. It was a systematic breakdown of older brothers in our community about 77, 78. And what we had to do, we was young ourselves, we would look for guidance. And a lot of brothers would go to the Army. They would go to jail, get caught up in the systematic rule. So when you looked for a role model, there was none, so you had to be one.
Here he was in an interview he gave in 1990 to a Dutch television station. He, like many other revolutionaries, were simply ahead of their time.
As President of the United States, it is my duty to act in the best interests of our people. It is my solemn responsibility to ensure that the future of our nation is safeguarded, even if the choices I make are difficult to accept.
Speaking truth to power, this guy was not immune from Chuck's words either.
You had to be really stupid to not know the effects of Reagan and Bush. I mean, really, if you was 20 years old and you realized that Reagan and Bush, you didn't realize that Reagan and Bush was just a bad thing for you and also the rest of the country, then you wasn't going to get it anyway. You was going to look at fight the power as something else. It's the same thing today. If you don't recognize, in the world of Donald Trump or what's going on, there ain't going to be nothing that's going to hit you except for catastrophe.
He also sees the fight based on politicians using their power to divide the electorate.
He's fantastic. right here. He's great. Standing up in there in the mucky swamp. Diane always has him in the mucky swamp. Yeah.
Look no further than this idiot, for example.
The ignorance is running rampant, especially in the United States of America. So, information, education always, broadens the scope, makes you understand that, and that makes less fear. We would like to see funding go into culture as opposed to going up into barricades like a wall and to build on like hate. Hate comes from the ignorance of just not knowing each other. It's a human planet. So the music has brought people together. Governments have split people up. It's about humans and people, and sports brings people together. Right. Music and culture brings people together, sure. And governments like to divide. Control is a human glitch that we probably can't figure out.
Not a lie detected here.
They openly campaign for racial reparations and bigoted policies that target white people. Let's not prove our valor by enduring pain. I'd like to start dishing it out. Less fortitude, more attitude.
He'll also never see eye to eye with this mentality.
That's a glaring error, 250 years of free labor slavery. And that's going to, we as black people can't ignore it. I can't look in my family line past 1910 and see, who was in my family.
Yeah.
And most black people are like that. And even black people here in Holland can't even look back into their family line in Suriname, because of slavery. And government, or the people that went along with the government, is responsible. Mm. So if they're going to charge people today,
yeah,
let's then play fair. You know what I'm saying? Pay us.
Yeah, but that's a very complicated thing, of course. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to say black people don't pay tax anymore? Or
something has to happen. Something. It's only fair. It's only right. Something has to happen. For example, our people worked the United States and helped build it, and today don't own anything. Yeah. Complicated as it might be, something has to happen, because what's going to happen is frustration and anger, because it's going to create havoc amongst the have-nots. Like me, I'm not God. I can't, enforce a lot of these changes, but I could at least talk about how they're messed up. I can't be silent on that issue.
Nor should he. Black Americans are not just deserving of reparations, but entitled to it.
I want to thank the White House Historical Association and all of the people that worked so hard with Melania, with everybody, to keep this incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special.
He was talking about the White House here, by the way. The White House.
I could say things like he's stupid. And this convention is stupid for having him. How about that? He's out of his mind. It's like, the Black Lives Matter is a narrative full of all kind of people who answer the question like, if we don't matter, then no one matters. The statement, if we don't matter, no one matters. For the longest period of time, Black lives seemingly didn't matter. 30 years ago, Reverend Jesse Jackson said, he talked about the economic divide, the education divide, the divide on enforcement, the divide on the environment. They have widened. There's been anger by youth who've grown into adults over the last 30 years. And the narrative, to use that word again, in the United States of America is like, y'all should be happy because you got a black president. He's the United States of America's president, not the black community's president.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.